possibly the most hair-raising 7 minutes of my life. Like, to be quite honest, I found Professor Campos' book title quite confounding at first. Not being too naive about how books need to jut out in a mass of titles, I initially chalked it to such a tactical gesture. While sharing some sympathy with Campos' faith in cinema's inferred ability to exceed material conditions, the lack of infrastructure, encumbrances on time, human and monetary resource, I also took comfort in the depth of his historical research and gave myself over to the case he was making about the diminishing nation in the spaces of filmmaking and the public imagination. I found the text productive in its troubling of the otherwise fixed senses of inside-outside, best taken up in the sections on Manoro, Batad, and Brutus. There is also much to be said about taking the cudgels for the particularities of place, tightly conflated with the local and vernacular, as a way of thwarting impending homogenization in the diegetic representation in the films he surveyed. As a scholar in art studies, I felt most invested when he ably argued in behalf of nuance, locality, and the specificities laden in enfleshed individuals. These are the aspects often glossed over in a desire to fix categories in aid of historicization and comparison. So, my field is guilty of that. Nevertheless, there are nagging questions. Is declaring the demise of the project of nation essentially giving up on democratizing cinema's reach? So these are the questions nagging in my head up to now. Does the democratization of the means to make merely an artistic project that desires broader production and semiotic parameters inevitably absolve inevitably absolve both artists and critics from more keenly tending to reception and distribution? In reading through the end of national cinema, I get the sense that Professor Campos works out the problematics of claiming this demise, but in the end appears torn about what that purported death means to where we are at in this century. One parallel in my field is last year we went to the Venice Biennale based on works pegged on results spectrum comparisons. I'm sorry, yes, in reference to result spectrum comparisons. And this particular participation in that event brought up questions like, who makes up the nation? The expat migrant who is suspiciously seen as not having enough stake in the nation? As they occupy such a prominent platform as the oldest international biennale in the world. I feel that the parallel is there because I see this in artists, not just filmmakers, but in artists across other practices, where nation is kind of taken off and on, like the outfit of the day, something to put on and off when they feel like it, when it serves. So there are very arguably mercenary impulses behind the taking on the veneer of nation. Fairly late in his treatise, Professor Campos does express his unequivocal faith in the workings of the medium. I quote, "Cinema is a powerful medium for mediating and meditating on history." I'd like to take him up on that and assert with him, as he does in the final lines of the book, that power, whether it's pictorial heft, sensorial poetry, or narrative jarring capacity, be subjected to the immediate questions of sight and sight. That is, if cinema is still able to do so much still, should we be letting it off so easily, celebrating its jumping ship in the albeit flawed mission of nation? Consigning the project of nation as fait accompli, as the letter sent to us said, I don't know who wrote that. Was that you? Oh, Neil, okay. At this juncture, it faces how the construct of nation is repeatedly counted on for various ends. In jingoist hysteria framed as populist clamor, recently in the case of our currently seated president rallying the troops against the UNICC, the nuancing and privileging of porosity found across the text is extremely useful to me in imagining a contraforce to internal colonization and the flattening of differences of peoples and communities across. But with our growing litany of amnesiac moments, might not our artists insist on being unencumbered or too unencumbered and desiring mobility without having to reckon with the creative excesses that they might exercise, of opting to be completely unanchored even if the conversation is merely among the same suspects. In the end, I would say the narrativizing or counter-narrativizing devices privileged in this book capably makes a transnational production context. Maps a transnational production context. But the representational stakes, I would say, are undeniably still figuring in the daily local life and at least residually remain national when the state finds itself backed against a perceptibly impervious wall or a banal thing like the hybrid Pinoy winning the beauty pageant crown or the next trending talent reality show. My main skepticism lies in how insisting on the categorical death of any otherwise flux-impelled form veers too closely to contributing to a history of forgetting, which we at this precarious moment of recidivist fascism and state impunity cannot afford to strike dalliances with.